Okay, so today is September 8th, and this is the meeting of the Parks Commission, and we are starting late at 8:36 as we had technical difficulties getting into the Zoom. And we are going to start at 8:36, and I'm going to do roll call. Sandra Berry here.
Brian Matheson here.
Jason Gerton here.
Eric and Boris here.
Dave Sacramone here.
Okay, so do we have minutes from the last meeting? I know I did not write them up. No, we will table the minutes until the next meeting. Is everyone in favor of that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So let's see, on the agenda, we do have trash is the first thing. And so I just wanted to tell everyone that we were contacted by the Council on Aging, and they do have someone who is able to pick up the trash at the rec field, and they live near the rec field, so they can pick up the bottles, the plastic bottles and all that, and they would like to do that, but they are unable to transport it anywhere as they do not have a vehicle. So do we want to go ahead and have this person pick up the trash and maybe contact DPW to see if they would pick up a trash bag in the parking lot once a week?
That makes sense to me.
I'm in favor.
I second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
I as well. I think that's a great idea. It's good to get the seniors on the working program. And I know this particular person had some health issues this summer. They would have done it earlier, but they did have health issues, and now they're fully recovered, and they said they would be interested in picking up that trash. So anything will help along those lines. So I will talk to the Council on Aging and let them know we're interested in having this person do it. And we will also bring DPW into it to see how they would best like to pick up that trash that this person picks up. The next thing on the agenda is the basketball court. So we did have a capital plan this year for $8,000 that was approved. And that was for the ceiling of the court and having it repainted once it's sealed, because we would have to do that. I did meet with a company, the same, I don't remember their name. It's the same company who did the Slade parking lot. I don't know if you've been down there, but a company out of Barry.
Oh, yeah.
Repaved that. And they also do ceiling, and they gave me an estimate of $4,000, around 4,000, maybe 4,500, which is really good because we had estimated 8,000. They did tell me they didn't know if they could fit it in for this year because they're pretty booked. It's a pretty busy time of year. But do we want to follow through with that and have them do that in the spring or whenever they're available to do it? I can say because it is under $10,000, we can just hire a contractor. We don't have to put it out to bid or anything. And they gave me a price of around, it was in between $400 and $4,500.
Was the money also for lining in the capital budget?
Well, it's for, I think it was for sealing, but if we're gonna seal it, we have to reline it because they're gonna cover up the lines. And I think because it's under budget by so much that we should be able to get that as well. He told me about $4,500 would include the lining. They do have someone who does the lining.
Oh, okay. So I had the lining of, okay. I was
Yeah,
wondering
I
if
mean-
it was above that.
It might be a little bit above it, but we have $8,000 to do it. So
Right, I thought it was just 4,000, 4,500 for the ceiling, and then we needed to get somebody else in to do the lining. So if they're doing the whole thing, that's great.
yeah, they have a guy who does lining as well. So
Perfect.
so and I feel bad that I can't think of the name of that company, and I do have the estimate. He didn't give me the estimate for the ceiling. He gave me an estimate for doing the walking track. But he gave me a verbal estimate for the ceiling. But he did tell me he did not think he'd be able to do it this year because they're really busy. And you kind of have to book this stuff like way in advance. Okay, his name is
I'm-
Justin Borgois. What's the name of their company?
They did a nice job on the Slade parking lot, whoever did that. So, I mean, I would certainly support getting that on the schedule for as soon as possible, whenever they can fit us in.
Yep. Yep, it's kind of funny. I have his name. Oh, the American Asphalt Company is what they're called. And they're out of Barry. So, okay, so we want to go through and see if we can get on their schedule. I mean, definitely being under budget is a great thing. So we'll save the town some money there.
Yeah, and if they can do both the ceiling and the lining, I mean, that saves having to try and find somebody that can paint the lines as a separate contractor.
Yes, oh, absolutely, because you absolutely need to put those lines back up there. Okay, so we will write back to them and tell them that we'd like to be put on their schedule, whether it's this fall or next spring to have that done. And again, that's all been approved by the town earlier in the year, and they did budget $8,000 for us, so that's good. Okay, American Asphalt Company. Sorry, I'm trying to go back to the agenda. Okay, so the next thing is the walking track, and at our last meeting, I had talked about the fact that Ryan had told me there was a $50,000 grant that would be split for the DPW roof and the walking track. So we did put in an application for ARPA funds for $50,000 for the difference. ARPA did not approve our grant, that basically saying that they thought we could get funding elsewhere, and they chose not to fund it. Also, apparently in regards to this grant, I was later told that it was for either the walking track or the DPW roof, and that it wasn't supposed to be split 50-50, although originally that is what I was told. So I guess my question is, so we're kind of, the estimate I have right now is $70,000. We can apply for a CPA grant. If you feel we should do that, let me know and I can fill out a grant to CPA. We would have to get 2 other estimates for the cost of replacing that whole walking track. And I would probably write to local people like Caruso. I know there's a few other, I mean, all you have to do is Google paving companies. There's a ton of them in Central Mass. But I would reach out to Caruso probably because they're local in Rutland. And I know there's a company out of Westminster. So do we want to go forward and look for funding to do this track?
Are we looking for funding for the 20,000 or the full 70,000?
Full 70, because at this point, I don't know how the Board of Selectmen is going to vote to use that money. And I asked that when I was at the ARPA meeting, and they said the Board of Selectmen will decide which way to use that money. So we can always apply with CPA. We can apply for the full amount. And what CPA does is they just decide, does this meet the criteria to CPA? And if it does, they move it on to the town to vote on it. You can always reduce the amount of money that you need, but you can't request more money than your application. So you're better off requesting high and then saying, oh, we thought we needed 80. We only need 40. So you can do that, but you can't ask for more money in your application. So do we feel getting the walking track replaced is, excuse me, something that we need to do? And do we want to pursue it? I can also say that when we put in our capital plan, the 5-year capital plan that we put in 3 years ago, that coming up in 2023 was actually the walking track we had put in that needed to be improved. So we're kind of right on time. with what we had requested. We did request more money to do that project. It doesn't mean it would have been funded, but do we want to pursue other avenues at this point, whether it's capital improvements to the town or CPA funding to do the walking track? Or do we want to put the walking track on hold?
I think it's important to do it or try to do it, especially that back section is getting pretty bumpy and, you know, starting to show its age.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Brian. It's definitely been in rough shape on the back section. And the whole thing is seen better days, obviously, but
Sandra, what did they, when you had it quoted, what did they quote doing? What was the job gonna be?
So the quote was for removing all of the asphalt right now, starting from the parking lot going up, you know, so that drive area
Yep.
around the bandstand and around the whole parking lot. They were going to remove all the asphalt. They were going to clear down 6 inches. So they would remove all rocks, all roots involved in that 6 inches. And they were gonna put down all new crushed stone, I want to say, or whatever they have to put for the underlayment. And
Great.
then do the pavement after it, or the asphalt on top of that.
Right.
yeah, that would last a good long while.
I think what we, the finishing step would having to be go around both sides of that entire track and rake all that out, resod it, all that stuff. That's a lot of work too, because it's gonna leave, it's, well, you remember when you had your driveway put in, the whole edge of it was all tore up. You need to finish that off, so that thing's a half mile long, so that's a mile's worth of
So
You know.
the question would be, how are they gonna finish the edges of it?
are they gonna do it, or are we gonna have someone else do it? I guess that's what I'm getting at. So if we don't have enough money to have someone else do it, if they didn't do it, then it just needs to be a consideration.
Okay, so if we go back and ask, should we ask them about finishing it off, like finishing off the sod around it or reseeding it or something?
Yeah, and if they don't do that, then maybe we have Keith, the guy who did the other work for us, maybe he can come give us a quote to do it so we can make sure we have enough money budgeted for it.
And
Okay,
hopefully they'd be able to tell us whether or not it makes the most sense to seed and sod that, or, you know, maybe put crushed stone or something a foot, you know, around it, or, you know what I mean?
okay.
I don't know what the best finishing for that area would be.
So, so I don't know if that, as far as I know, that wasn't part of the plan, but you want me to ask them if that's, can be part of the estimate, and maybe it'd be a higher estimate?
Yeah, otherwise it's gonna be a real big mess up there.
Okay. I can ask them, that's not a problem, and ask them how much more that would be, because if we're gonna ask for funding, we really want to ask for the total project.
Right.
Okay. All right, I can ask them that. Do you think we should go forward with a CPA application, or do you think we should ask for capital, or just, I think we're on next year's capital plan, which would be for fiscal year 2024. Do we want to have that to be our vision as to when to have this done, or is that something you feel we need to do sooner?
I think going with a CPA, at least to try it, if that doesn't work out, you know, then we can come back and look at the other funding.
So there is a special town meeting that's coming up in October. And we could try to get a CPA application in for this fall for that special town meeting. Or we could just do the regular annual town meeting, which would take place in June, requesting the CPA funds.
And I'm thinking at this point, we're probably okay with waiting till June.
Yeah, I would agree. It's not going to get done this year anyway, so.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we could actually put in a CPA application. So how CPA works is, and I can tell you right now, CPA right now in their general fund has like $50,000, and in their recreational fund, they have about $23,000. So that would probably just cover the cost of it. And my thinking is CPA does not want to deplete their total funding. They will get revenues in October from the state. They will get revenues next June from the town with taxes that come in. And so there'll be more money in those buckets. The best way to describe it, for next next spring. But I can say if we put an application in for this town meeting and it gets approved, doesn't mean we can't hold off and do the project next spring once we get the funding. So either way, it doesn't matter. You know, if we get the approval at this town meeting, we could do the project in the spring. Otherwise, we have to wait till June for the next town meeting, annual town meeting, to see if it gets approved. And then there'll be more funding for next fall. That's
So
all.
I think if the special town meeting that's coming up is gonna be financially based, it probably wouldn't be a good move for us to ask for money at a special town meeting people might be upset at for the other reasons that the meeting is happening. So
That's a
I
good
think-
point.
I think it's a smarter, kind of reading the room. That's probably not the time for us to ask for money.
Okay.
Yeah, I would,
So everyone thinks, okay, so if that's the case, then they start taking applications for next June town meeting. They'll start taking applications in January. So I guess as long as we can get a couple, you need 3 estimates. I can try to get 2 more estimates this fall, get an application all put together, and we can prepare that for January.
Do we
I
need
think
to
that's the
vote
better
on
move.
doing that?
Excuse me?
Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, so I was just saying, I think that's the smarter move.
And do we need to vote on that? Or are we good?
Well, what we'll do is I'll get the estimates and then we'll have a meeting again later in this year before the January 15th application process. And I can let you guys know, the application. I'll share the application with you. I'll share with you the estimates that I've gotten. And then when we can say, yeah, that looks good, let's, move it forward to CPA. CPA does meet again. I mean, they're going to meet in September, but they will meet again in January for any applications for the June town meeting next year. So we can we can put it together for January. Excuse me. That will give us more time to actually reach out to other companies. Does anyone else? I was thinking Caruso, does anyone have a company they'd like me to reach out to? I mean, it's going to have to go to a bid process anyways. It's over 10,000. It's going to be over 10,000, but with the CPA application, you have to give them 3 estimates, or at least attempt to get 3 estimates.
Does that American Asphalt only do ceiling, or do they do asphalt as well?
No, they do asphalt as well.
mean-
They're the ones who gave me the price for, they're the ones who gave me the price for the 70,000 to do the walking track.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed that.
No, that's okay. Does
I
anyone
don't
else?
know anybody else.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so I'll just go local, Caruso, and I know Miller Paving out of Lunenburg, Fitchburg did my driveway here.
Who did the basketball court? Who did they have do that,
I don't know. That was all done by Busy Bee, but I don't know who actually did it. Yeah. So I don't know. Again, like I said, I just need 3 estimates, so I need 2 more estimates, and then if it gets approved, then it has to go to a bid process anyways. So. All right. Okay, so I will just, so everyone's fine if I just find people local to, who will actually respond to giving me a bid? Or
Yes.
giving me an estimate?
Yep.
Okay. So the next question, or the next thing on our agenda is the ice rink. So my whole question is, I think, so I know, you guys know we got the $7,500 for our new budget. However, with whatever the town situation, financial situation is, which is coming up in this meeting in October, I don't know if we're gonna have that $7,500 go forward. So I have had to pay for a porta potty for the month of July. And I just got the bill for August, so I've got to pay that. I'm basing everything on level funding from last year, which is $2,500. Because I just don't know if they're gonna come back and say, yeah, we're gonna take that money back. We're in a financial crunch, what have you. So my question is, do you want me to still order the ice rink liner? Because we need to buy a liner if we're gonna put the ice rink up again. And that liner last year was like $250. Obviously, we will have the money if I'm paying for porta potties this year. and the ice rink, and then next year we will be able to pay for like 2 months worth of porta potties before we get our new budget, if they cut us back down to $2,500. So do we want to pursue putting that ice rink up again and getting a liner to do that?
I mean, I think so. We put the initial investment in for the rest of the rink. I think it would, I think it would make sense to continue to support that rink. And it seemed to get a fair amount of use when the weather was cooperating.
I actually
Yep.
think it got quite a bit of use last year. I mean, we actually had decent weather once it finally froze.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of people really enjoyed it. So
Yep.
Okay.
I would agree. As long as we can keep people off of it at the beginning, we're good to go.
That's always the battle.
That was the key, but last year we were pretty successful. And I will tell you, the thing I think is interesting last year, so whenever I would see people up there on that rink, I would stop and I would pull over and I'd go up and I'd talk to them. And there were quite a few people from Rutland, which surprised me. And they're like, oh my God, our friends all come down here. But Rutland put in the exact same rink later in the year last year. So, I mean, I'm hopeful that Hubbardston people will still use it. Maybe I just didn't catch the Hubbardston people on it. But I know on Facebook, it seemed to have a real positive support and people seemed to be very happy that we had done that. And all right. So everyone's in, but Jay, you saw that rink. Where did they put the rink in Rutland? Do you recall?
I think they put it on the basketball court, but over behind the pool, over in that area.
Over in that area? They put it on the basketball court?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay. All right, so everyone's fine because you really kind of need to order those liners now in order to get them in time and everything. So I don't remember what size. Does anyone remember what size we had last year?
No.
Okay, if not, I can go down and count how many boards we have. That kind of gives you an idea.
Do we have a receipt from,
I'm sure I do. I'm sure I do. I'll just have to look through the file and look for it. So, all right. So everyone's in favor of us ordering a new ice rink. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's good. I think it's a positive thing for the winter. I have no idea what I mean by maintainer. So I think what my thinking was as a maintainer is we had talked about at one point, if we had this additional funding, we might look at hiring a part-time parks person to either empty the trash, shovel off the ice rink. I really think we need to table that because I'll be honest, I have no idea after October 22nd what our budget is even going to be. So I guess we'll just table that for now.
I was actually impressed at how much snow was blown off of the rink, just where it's located. I mean, it was
Yeah, that
pretty
worked out really
bare.
well, didn't it, Brian? We went down to shovel it off and there was like no snow on it.
oh,
Yeah.
And we had
No,
gotten
not
quite a bit of
really.
snow. There was just so much wind. It just blew the
Blew right
snow
up.
away.
yeah,
It was great.
it's always windy there in the winter, so it's kind of a bonus.
Yeah.
And one of the times I had gone down there to shovel it, there was a lot of slush. There's like what 3 or 4 inches of slush on there early in the season, and I was down shoveling it, and I can't remember his first name, but his last name's Vincent. It was on 99 or over on Old Princeton Road there, and he came up and shoveled it, shoveled with me just on his own. And then I think he had shoveled it a couple times after that on his own. So
Nice.
Yeah, that was
Great.
really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Kathy Vincent's husband, but I don't know. his
yeah,
name.
is it Joe? I want to say Joe, but I don't know. I want to make something up.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's nice. And, the inaugural year, a lot of people don't know about it, don't know how to do it. I think it would be nice if we could somehow try to incorporate letting people know about it more. It's too bad we couldn't do a bonfire up there somewhere, or something, or, whatever. I'm sure we could work with Hubbardston Celebration, do some sort of winter carnival or something. I don't know. But
If you get hot chocolate or something up there one night or one afternoon.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon or something, and maybe try to promote it a little more. So, but I think the more people know about it, the biggest thing I did hear from the parents that I ran into, they all had little kids, and they said it was a great place for the little kids to learn to skate.
Yeah.
Instead of, because to get out on the ice where it's out on a pond that might already have an area, it's usually quite a ways from shore, and your kids have to walk quite a ways to get out there on the skates. They don't know how to skate. So that was the biggest positive I heard, is it was a really good place for younger kids to first learn. So yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it's a positive thing for the town. So, okay. A couple other items I had, I know last time we did talk about maybe doing some security cameras at the rec field, and I do know that someone from the Lions did reach out to me, and they are all in favor of this happening. We're still interested in doing that, but again, that's probably going to depend on our budget. But we're still interested in looking into that.
Yeah, I did a little bit of looking, and there are some cameras that are like solar powered and like I take a cell signal that you pay like a monthly thing fee for. That would probably be perfect for all of it, any situation we have up there, but
Mhm.
they're not cheap, so we should have to. Probably gonna have to wait and see what that budget is, so, and the monthly payment after that, you have to have some kind of, storage center, all that stuff, to kind of send it to, so.
Oh, and like, give me an idea of what the cost was,
I think there was a couple $1,000
for one?
for the set. I think it was like 3. So
Oh,
yeah. I have it saved, but I can pull it up and send it to you guys.
okay.
And then I think there was some other guys in the area, or you can get salesmen that will come out and talk to us and offer some better thing, but I didn't want to get into all that.
Yeah, and the whole thing is you just don't know how well it will work or not work because we don't have good cell service out here
Right.
right now. It's my understanding they're going back to the Board of Selectmen, or they already went back for that cell tower to get approved on Brigham Street or Main Street, wherever it is. It's going to be up in that corner, Brigham, Main together.
Yeah.
And that should probably really help out the signal.
If we're
So
gonna
that's
put
cool.
anything.
Was it
like-
gonna be in the church steeple?
No.
No,
What?
Is it gonna be in the church steeple?
No.
no.
It's gonna, where the pumpkin farm is on Brigham Street, the big white house?
Mhm.
Sells all the pumpkins. They have a big field in the back.
Oh,
And
okay.
apparently that field abuts Mary Hubbard's house, which is actually on Main Street. So off Brigham Street, off Main Street, there's a big field. So it's my understanding, it's the cooperation of like 3 different families, an access road to get there. And then they're gonna put it out in the middle of that field, but I don't know if the property is kind of owned by 1 or 2 people. But what I heard last was that they were looking to approve it, but then there was a deadline. They didn't meet the deadline, so now they have to go back and, reapply some new deadline or something. But that would be really great if that went through.
If we're gonna put any electronics underneath the bandstand, we should probably deal with that door and make it more secure.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. So no one will get back in there.
I think if we decide to go forward with some kind of a camera option, we should probably engage the interim chief and get his thoughts on it, because we shouldn't be up there running up to pull a photo, or pull a video clip if there's an incident. It should be readily accessible by the police department.
Okay.
I think you have it like a ring type of setup, so it goes to somebody's phone or somewhere, and might be multiple people. You could have the police chief and us or DPW, somebody.
Okay.
I don't want to volunteer DPW or anybody else for anything. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it depends on the type of system you get. If you have one that's going, with a service, then people can see it. If it's just, recording, and when you see something that happens, you go up there and figure out what happened.
Mhm.
2 different, thought processes. One's trying to keep people from doing stuff versus when they're doing it, going and trying to deal with it.
deal with it. Yeah, and along with that, like we did have that incident right before the Hubbardston celebration, craft fair, the way they knocked over porta potties and they actually broke one of the Lions Club benches. And also they were jumping on the benches that we have. They're not benches, but what are they? Not bandstand, but
Yeah, the bleachers.
the bleachers. Yeah, thank you. The portable bleachers. So it will be interesting to see when field day comes up and the porta potties are put out there and everything, if vandalism happens again. I mean, do we want to jump through all these hoops for just one incident, I guess is what I'm looking at. And we won't even know because we're not even gonna, field day is gonna be September 17th. And we're not even gonna know what our final budget is till the end of October. So there's definitely gonna be, some time in between to see if there's any more vandalism that happens up there. But that's good, Jay, that you looked into that. I appreciate that. And like I said, we'll wait and see what our final budget is. And then we'll decide about whether we want to engage in this, monthly expense and if it's worth putting cameras up there. But I do know that the Lions Club, someone from Lions Club did reach out to me and was asking about it. And they thought it was a good idea. So, all right. Well, the one thing I did want to ask, we wanted to vote on is every year we do donate $200 to the Horribles Parade for Flo Purveyor and the Horribles Parade that happens in October. We would have to vote if we wanted to still, out of our $2,500 budget, which I'm going to say right now, we probably have $2,250 in there. Do we want to give them the $200 towards that parade?
I motion to support the Horribles Parade.
I second that.
Okay, all in favor? Sandra, yes.
I,
Jason,
Aye.
yeah.
Aye.
All right, so I'll get a check made out to them because they'll need that. All right, that's good. But as far as this year's budget and finishing up, we always close the parks down November 15th. We will have enough money to do that and buy the ice rink liner. And that should leave, I'm just calculating in my head, that should leave us maybe $600 to open up the parks for next spring if we are level funded back to 2,500 and we don't have this full 7,500. Okay. And again, we probably won't need to meet until I'm going to say November. And then at that time, we'll know what our budget is. We'll know how, what we want to do for the spring and what we want to do about maybe buying these cameras and things.
sounds good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Does anyone have anything else they'd like to talk about?
Do we have to do anything for townwide yard sale?
Oh, well, isn't it nice that you asked? Yes, speaking of that, I did actually, it's not going to be much money, but I did actually order a couple new yard sale signs that, because they changed the date from June. I have yard sale signs that say June up in my garage. And I ordered a couple more that are going to say September because it is going to be the 24th and 25th. Last year, we actually made $400 off the townwide yard sale that we get to spend however we want. So we should be able to make a little money off that. And we usually use that money to fund like the Easter egg hunt and things like that.
Right.
So, no, I think we're all set. As of right now, I have 24 people in town who want to be on the map for the yard sale. I've been working with Claudia. And we're going to run it like we did last year, where we'll put the maps out and people.
What was the deadline for getting on the map? I think there's a 25th that needs to be added.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
The deadline to be on the map is like the week before. So it's
Okay,
like
all
the
right.
17th or 18th. So yeah, so if you want to be on the map, let me know.
All right.
And we'll put you on the map. But yeah, we've had quite a few. And I'll tell you, what happens is people wait for like the week before to see what the weather's gonna be like. And then all of a sudden I'll get a flood of emails. "Can you
Oh,
put me on
sure.
the map? Can you put me on the map? Could you put," because people don't want to haul their stuff out if it's not gonna be good weather.
Right, right.
So that happens every year. So, but I'm happy to think that we have like 24 of them right now, plus the senior center. I haven't even counted them. And so, yeah, so it's always a fun time. So there is nothing else we need to do, but I will tell you that I did order a few new maps, not maps, but signs from Dan Sobel right here in town. And I'm glad you did mention that because I did want to mention something else and talk to Eric a little bit. So we did talk at our last meeting about that whole area in front of the playground that's all dirt, the grass never grew. So does anyone care if I beautify that?
No. You're gonna do it anyways. I mean, you've been doing it for years. I
Well,
don't even know why you ask.
I need permission. We need to say the parks agreed.
Yeah, I make a motion to let you do that.
Whatever you want.
Do whatever you do.
So my biggest thing is that I want to plant something that is not going to need to be maintained by anyone, like just low growing, plants. I definitely have a couple in my own yard I want to get rid of, and the ground covering plants, and I'd like to put them down there. I think they'll do well. And then I was thinking about just simple things like, Chris, I can think of a single name of any of those plants that I want to put down there. Sedums, I think are very easy, and they're pollinators.
We'll do well there,
They'll
definitely.
do well, and they look great all year long. They bloom in the fall, but they're nice and green in the spring and summer, and they just fall over and die away and regrow the next year. They're nice and easy. So I was thinking of sedums. And I was thinking of one of the blue flowers that are growing right now. They look like a mum, but they're not a mum. They're actually a weed, but they come back every year and they really look good. Come on, Eric. I have like 6 of them in my yard. I just bought them and I can't think of the name of them.
Not lupins.
Nope. Anyways, we'll do those two. They'll be easy. And I might even put clover just around it. Like, who cares? The flowers will just come up through and
Clover is fantastic.
yeah, you had said that. So, so I think the clover will work well. So you did say something about preparing it. Do I need to do much more other than, I actually have like a hand tiller that I can run over it and just rough it up and.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, that should work just fine.
Yeah, do I need to bring any other kind of mix in and just throw anything on top of it, like a potting soil or a topsoil or anything like that?
I don't think, and Keith put soil in there, right? So it's
He
just.
did, yeah.
I think it's a lot better than what was there to begin with,
Yeah, so, all right. Anyone have any other suggestions for that? Anyone want to help? You don't have to. I'm just saying if you do, I don't want to take away the fun from everyone who might want to do something else. So, okay.
Let us know when you're doing it. And if I'm around, I'll certainly come up with something.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do.
And I do have new signs that I did buy. I talked about that last time, and I haven't put them up yet, but I just bought the metal clips because I'm going to metal clip them. But there's only like 6 signs, and I can just go down and do that. That's pretty easy. So I am going to put up new signs. So one of the signs is, did I show you guys that? I don't remember, but one of the signs is for the deck that Nicholas, what was his last name? The Boy Scout Eagles project from last year. I'm going to put that up. We actually had an Eagle project from right before COVID, and I never got his sign up, but I got a new sign for him, and I'll put that up. That's down at the Charlie Clock corner. I'm going to have to screw them in, I guess, as well do. And I actually got a sign for the Gaga Pit because we never put the sign up for his, and it's so I'll put it on. I know the Gaga Pit, I don't think it's ever been used, but the kid did do the job, and it was his Eagle Scout project. So we will at least acknowledge him and his hard work. So yeah, so I think I got like 6 signs to put up, but that shouldn't be too difficult.
Nice.
Anything else?
For me,
I don't think so.
All right. Someone want a motion to adjourn?
I motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay.